It's time to get all your Star Wars news in a single file. From Fantatrax TV, this is Good Morning Tatooine!
Good morning, Tatooine indeed. I'm your host, Brian Conlon, and with my co-host, Paul Naylor, we're back.
We're back.
All the Star Wars and Lucasfilm news you could possibly want, and what a week to make our comeback, Paul.
I know. We're back in little boxes again. Oh, it was really nice to see you in person the other week, mate.
It was. We had a lot of fun.
We did.
The droid event, because, you know, I love droids. Mr.
Who'd have
Newbold
thought
was
you'd
there as
enjoy
well,
it?
and he's in the comments. Evening, Mr. Newbold, how are you?
Hello, Mark. Yes, you're right. We've come back with a week full of news, which is great. So, without further ado, chuck it up on the screen, Brian.
Yeah, let's see what we've got to discuss this week, because there's quite an interesting week indeed. First up, Star Wars Fall of the Emperor from Stern Pinball has a new release. We'll be checking that out.
Then we've got Alden Ehrenreich, I think that's how you say it, on his future as Han Solo. It would have to really, really be the right version of it. I wonder what he means.
Dan Gilroy's been talking what could have been with Andor season 3 to 5, suggesting that he can't imagine over 5 years we wouldn't have shown the Emperor. We'd have loved that.
Star Wars Fan Fun Day has announced its date for 2026, and I, for one, am very excited.
Yeah. Reservations are no longer needed to visit Oga's Cantina at Disneyland Anaheim.
And PETA has been asking George Lucas to make the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art a vegan restaurant.
There's always a news item for me to rant on, Paul. Wait for that one to come up. Of course, the big news of the week was the announcement that production has begun on Star Wars Star Wars Starfighter. It is a mouthful. They need to change that title to just something more pronounceable. The principal cast have been announced. We've got the writer, we've got the cinematographer all announced, and the first image from set. So we'll be checking that out.
Exciting stuff. Claudio Miranda is rumoured to be the director of photography on Star Wars Starfighter. And we'll delve deep into what his background has been.
Yep. And last but not least, the Death Star Cometh as we get to Season 2, Episode 9 of Andor. It's not the episode Who Are You? At all. I haven't updated the text, Paul. I can't even remember. It's the one, The Birth of the Rebellion. What is it? I'm going to have to Google it.
You Google it, Brian.
You Google it.
I'll Google it, you Google it. We'll see who Googles it.
Welcome to the Rebellion is the episode we're covering this week.
Oh, fastest fingers in the West. Well done.
Yeah, welcome to the Rebellion, Paul.
Well,
Dan Gilroy directed the episode as well. So we'll be diving deep into that, and it'll be interesting to see what your thoughts are on that episode, because I have thoughts, that's for sure.
Oh, no, well, you always do.
Yeah, that's very true. Other than Droid Day, it's been a while since we've been together. Have you been up to anything exciting?
Yeah. So my wife is currently over in Benidorm with her friends. Hi, Mandy, if you're listening. She won't be listening. She'll be out on the lash, won't she? But and yeah. So my daughter and my son have both got new jobs starting in September. Rachel's back off to London to live, and Matthew's off to the UAE. And he flies out there tomorrow, so that's very exciting. So we've had a lot of little family celebrations before they go.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Great comment here, actually, before we discuss what I've been up to from... Now, I'm going to pronounce this terribly because my Spanish isn't great, but Star Wars Colle Centenio Salis España with the hashtag Get the Gunship, people. Obviously, the HasLab. 9 days to go, is it? I think we're just 9 days to go. I'm
just
gonna,
over the halfway mark.
I'm just going to have a look to see where we're at, because I think we're at about halfway.
I think it's 4,091 when I looked. But
So we're 8 days, 7 hours, 53 minutes and 6 seconds to go. 4,091 backers of the target of 8,000. We'll be discussing that for next Sunday's show.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Paul? You're a big Hasbro collector of sorts. It's a difficult one, it looks like.
I would have thought that for it to get over the line, it would be around at least 6,500 by now, within that last sort of jolt to the line. With it being just over halfway, I've got my doubts on this one, which is a shame because of the ones that in the past have failed, I kind of understood Reba's lightsaber failing. The Rancor to a certain extent because they didn't promote that properly. But this one really, it's a lovely looking piece, but it's not that different or that much of an enhancement based on various versions that have already come out over the years. So yeah, I'm of the opinion the vehicle that I wanted to see was the Sandcrawler. And I think they could have done a couple of really neat ideas with that. Similar to what they did with the Cantina, where you could have the Cantina as a standard version, or you could have the enhanced version where you've got extra bays for the patrons. With the Sandcrawler, what they could have done is a standard version, and then they could have sort of harked back to the good old days of Palatoy and Kenner and had a remote control version. So you'd have had one that got a bit of gubbins in it, so you could actually make it move. That's what I'd have done, and I think that would have already been funded by now.
Yeah. Interesting. We'll discuss it in depth next Sunday. And
that was like a trailer, wasn't it?
It was. It's a nice little teaser. Excellent, well-timed comment there. Other than that, I've been living the quiet life the last couple of weeks. I've been rather ill.
You've been a bit poorly, haven't you, mate?
Picked up diseases visiting those droids. But other than that, living the very quiet life, Paul, which is nice.
Been having a few problems with your restraining bolt.
Yes, yeah. I think it's all a conspiracy.
Don't go near them again.
That's
my top tip.
Let's jump straight into the news, and because we've got a lot to get through. First up, a new Star Wars pinball coming from Stern called Fall of the Emperor.
I've not seen this. You were raving about this to me.
Just like the trailer's stunning. I'm going to show you in a second. Pro Edition, $6,999. Of course, you'd want to go premium, wouldn't you? You wouldn't go. You don't want just one of the Pro Editions. Premium's at $9,699. And you could, if you're feeling fancy, go limited edition for $12,999. Bargain prices, Paul.
Or all three. Have all three.
Just get all three if you're a completist collector.
Yeah.
It's going to bring the Galactic Civil War to games rooms and cantinas all around the galaxy starting next month, which is tomorrow. Do you want to see the trailer for this? Because this is...
Yes, please.
This is something else.
I hope you've not built this up.
Oh, wait. I'll go back to the start. I didn't start at the beginning there.
Oh, okay.
Has that convinced you to lash out $6,999?
Hang on. Is that it?
That's it.
Well, that's a good thing. That means all the budget's gone on the product.
Yeah. Convinced. You've got a choice here. HasLab or $7,000 on the pinball machine.
Well, admittedly, HasLab have at least shown us what the product is. So, my
Is that a
money's
good
on
thing or a bad
HasLab.
thing, Paul?
Well, judging by the fact it's only halfway over, yeah. Can I just hold on to my pocket money for now, just in case anything else comes up later on?
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to come back to this because I'm presuming they're going to reveal some more information to
That was
convince
definitely
people to
a
part with
teaser.
some money. Product's out apparently tomorrow. That's what we've got to build the excitement.
Well, the question is, has Mark Newbold ordered one?
That's a good question. Has he got space?
No.
He's got space for the actual pinball, maybe, rather than the pinball machine. So that is the wonderful news from Stern. So we've got that to look forward to. We're going to come back to this in future episodes, I feel. Next up, Alden. I can still not say his name. He's an alumni now. Alden
Should we just call it
Ehrenreich.
Alden Ford.
Yeah, young Han Solo has been getting interviewed on whether he'd be interested in coming back to Star Wars. And like all good actors, what a job. So, like, obviously, he's going to say yes. And unless he had a really terrible experience, you're never going to turn down a few million to come back and do a movie. Yeah. And when asked about whether he would come back, he made a comment which was interesting. Making a movie is stressful no matter what. Your job as an actor, in a way, is to use the energy that's happening around you, and sometimes that energy involves stress. But characters are under stress. There are a few characters who are having a ball, so it's a contributive sometimes, as long as it's an environment where people feel safe. As for whether he'd play Han Solo again if the call came, he leaves the tiniest crack of the door open at possibility. It would have to be really be the right version of it. In other words, he had a really horrible time making Solo a Star Wars story. The whole carry-on behind the scenes upset him. He wouldn't want to go back to experience something similar like that again. So there'd have to be really clear what's happening with a Solo 2 before you're getting him back as Solo, basically. It's my interpretation, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed his performance as Solo. I thought that he sort of did his own thing with it, but it was still very Han Solo to my eyes anyway. I think a lot of the negativity is actually backlash from The Last Jedi.
Yep.
It was a film that should have come out at Christmas time rather than 6 months after The Last Jedi. But yeah, he should be back. Like Mark says, he really was fantastic. And there's so many stories that already exist that we would be happy to see. I would love to see with Jackson the Rabbit and that gang that Han and Chewie first are put with. we know that. But I would love to see that storyline put into either a film or even do it as a TV show. But
I was going to say that the interesting thing about the Solo film is that all the lead actors in it are television level actors. And that none of them would turn their nose up at a good TV series, is what I mean by that. I've shown that in the past that they'll do movies, but they'll also do TV.
I see what you mean.
I get the impression he doesn't really want to come back, from what he said, and I get the impression from Lucasfilm that they don't really want to do anything with Solo or a young Solo.
It is a real shame because it had got so much potential.
Yeah.
I mean, if all parties have been put off doing it, well then we've got no hope, have we?
The basic point is you've got to present that to a board, the idea of a second Solo film, and the board are going to look at how the first one did, and it did so commercially poor
Yeah.
the justification for doing a sequel just isn't there. Mr. Newbold added at the end of his news piece that could he turn up in the long-awaited Lando film, which
That's the
could
point I
also be
was
a
about to
TV
make.
series.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
probably more likely.
Yeah. Because then what you're doing is you're sort of teasing his return, and then if people are really on board with it, then maybe they'll think
Yeah,
again.
basically you do a Lando film and you have Solo in it,
Yeah.
and then if people really love what's going on in there, then it's commercially successful, then that justifies you to do more. But the fact that Lando project's been on the burner for so long, and
It's probably at least, what, 6 years?
yeah, something like that. And
Maybe, hasn't it?
you also have to add into the mix that Kathleen Kennedy is going to be stepping down, and you're going to have a new head, which changes everything completely, because that new head of Lucasfilm will then have call in what moves forward and what doesn't. They maybe were a huge fan of Solo and will push hard
Yeah.
for that Lando film or a Solo project, or maybe they weren't a big fan and thus won't. So things will all change very shortly.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, one of the other things that was announced this week, and I'm not sure whether it's confirmed yet or whether it's just rumor, so I'll tread carefully. But I believe that they've confirmed that when they get round to doing the next trilogy, they are going to be 10, 11, and 12.
Don't think it's been confirmed.
Has
If
it
they
not?
had,
No.
if they had the balls, they would make it 13, 14, and 15.
Why?
Because then you would do the prequels to it, wouldn't you? At a later junction.
You
Just
crazy.
skip ahead and leave a gap. That's what I think's the clever thing to do.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
And then, of course, if you jumped ahead to 13, you could bring back the Emperor and not say how he returned. Just somehow he returned, and then if you want to find out how he returned, you'd have to watch the prequel trilogy.
Oh, dear.
dear.
Now, this is still doable. Andor Season 3 is still doable.
It is, apart from the fact that Tony Gilroy wouldn't do it,
No.
and thus I think you would find that the cast would be very loyal to Tony, and if he's not doing it, they wouldn't want to be involved.
Yeah. Now, it doesn't have to be about Cassian Andor. It could be about the sister that went missing.
Yep. Yeah,
It could even
that plot point.
which, they really explored that one, didn't they?
Yeah.
Or it could be about, well, based on the assumption that it is his child, but it could be based on the baby. We could have an Andor series based 20 years
I think
later on the baby.
that's more likely on the basis that Diego's going to be too old now to be doing 3, 4, 5. I think.
He's killed off in Rogue One anyway. So. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Dan Gilroy, brother of the before mentioned Tony, spoke about what could have happened if they went with the original plan of a 5-season series. Well, it would never have gotten made because it was far too expensive, and Disney would have cancelled it. That would be the first point to make.
Yeah.
We're very lucky we got the 2 seasons that we did. But they suggested if they're going to do 3, 4, 5, you would have to actually bring the Emperor back.
Oh yeah.
And he's thought about it a lot. He can't imagine over 5 years we wouldn't have shown the Emperor at that point. I think we would have gotten closer to that world. I think we would have gone like, we're really getting a good sense of opposition forces here. Let's go deeper into the power. At the moment, the halls of power, I think we could have gone deeper into the halls of power and explored that. That would have been the natural way to go. I think the progression of it. And as Mr. Newbold says, a very interesting point. This could have been fantastic if they'd gone for it. So a West Wing show in the corridors of Naboo, Alderaan and Coruscant would have been incredible.
Yeah. Whether there would have been enough people out there to have been as into it as a 5 series arc, I don't know.
It doesn't work in a streaming service, I don't think.
No. I think this is definitely a case where less is more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the issue with Andor is critically acclaimed both by the media and by the fan base, but comparatively small audience. And streaming services like Disney Plus have inherently got this problem where they may have 100 million subscribers, but in reality, if they're getting more than 2 million people watching a show, they're doing well. So even for a service as large as Disney Plus, a tiny, tiny fraction of the potential audience of that platform is actually watching the content.
Without putting you on the spot, do you know roughly what the viewing figures were?
And you can apply that to every single streaming service. So even Netflix, if you're doing around about the 2 million mark, you're in the top 10 shows in that network. So this isn't a criticism of Disney Plus. It's just a criticism in streaming in its totality. It is not anything like as successful as linear TV. It has been a complete failure for every single network who have thrown billions at it in the hope of making more money, and they've actually ended up costing themselves more whilst making an incredibly tiny percentage of what they used to make. And they've, in the process, lost their audience.
Yeah. I don't know whether you heard me, Brian, but do you know roughly what the viewing figures were for?
It was round about the 2 million mark.
It was, yeah. Okay, so it was one of the better ones.
Better than Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. Yeah. Not as good as the first couple of seasons of Mandalorian. So kind of there in the middle. So the irony is, even though these 2 seasons were loved, probably would have got cancelled after season 2.
Yeah.
Based on cost versus viewing numbers. The only reason it really got a season 2 is because they were so far into season 2 by the time the viewing figures for season 1 came out, because of COVID and everything had been delayed so much from the first season.
Yeah. I imagine, therefore, that the conversation probably went something along the lines of, look, you can have your season 2, but that's all you're having. So that's when they had to restructure it the way they did.
Yeah. As Mark's saying here, if they'd not agreed to 2 seasons, they'd likely not have got a Andor season 2. That's why we didn't get Acolyte season 2. Again, another show, incredibly expensive. Book of Boba Fett just wasn't good enough. So Tony Gilroy and co were very smart. They were smart in realising we're never going to get to 5 seasons here. Let's retool it and get the story out in 2, really.
Yeah. It's a shame because ultimately, do you think that streaming platforms per se, not just Disney Plus, all of them, do you think there's a finite time that they're actually going to be in operation? Do you think they're going to have to change the model?
I think you're already beginning to see that kind of evolution, where they kind of realised this isn't going to be what we thought it was going to be. In that they're releasing Blu-rays of the TV shows, in that they're giving content to other platforms. So, for example, in the UK here, we've got a taste of Disney Plus on ITVX, which is a free platform here in the UK. And on Disney Plus in the UK, you get a taste of ITVX. So currently you can watch the whole of Andor Season 1 on ITVX, which is the second major broadcaster after the BBC here in the UK. On Disney Plus, I think they've got Bruce Forsyth Play Your Card Rights or something like that. No, I can't even remember what they've got. They've got a few dramas like the post office scandal drama, things like that. So you're going to start to see that content sharing across platforms, physical releases. You're going to see a lot more of that. I think you'll find more of it ending up not just on streaming services, but ending up on linear TV again. Because as much as I'm criticising the streaming services, they've also destroyed linear TV by offering a streaming service. Why would you pay $50 to have a linear or satellite TV package when you can pay $8 and get a library of content? As Mr. New was pointing out, on Disney Plus have got Towie and Love Island. Probably got The Chase as well. A lot of garbage, put it like that.
I mean, Mark makes out this is for his wife Ruth, but I know that it's him really.
Mark's a huge Love Island fan. People don't realise this. Big Love Island fan. Ever you're trying to get hold of it, I can't tonight watching Love Island. It's the truth. It's a difficult one. They've destroyed their own industry in a way by embracing the streamers and introducing it at a very cheap price. So they've not only destroyed their production by making it paying too much for these products to be made, undervaluing them and selling it to the consumer too much. They've, in the process, killed their linear service as well. So they're in a real predicament. And this is why you don't get 22, 24 episode TV series anymore.
Yeah.
And you've now reduced to 8 to 10 episodes, because that's costing them the same money, if not more, to get a third of the content for probably a more expensive price. And they're selling it to the consumer for less. It's crazy. And I called it out from day one.
You did.
And everybody laughed at me. But just looking at everybody knew. You cannot tell me that the financial people at Disney did not know and did not raise this point. And they were ignored. Because I'm not saying I'm a genius here. I'm just saying it was so logic. Just look at, you can't go from a $50 service to a $7.99 service and expect me to think you're going to make more money. Doesn't make sense to me at all. So I don't know what the future is for streaming or TV and film production at all. I think you're going to find, and you're starting to see it now, short dramas which are designed for social media. So if you go on TikTok or Reels or whatever platform you favour, you see 2-minute dramas that's broken down into 2-minute episodes. Real trash TV, the most appalling of actors and the most appalling of TV shows, but they can churn this content out incredibly fast and incredibly cheaply. It's kind of a concept that's coming from Korea. It's now gone to America. You get constantly throwing this terrible content, and they want you to sign up to short drama apps that then you either have to wait a period of time to see the next 2-minute tragic episode, or you can pay to get access to it quicker. And obviously it's designed for the TikTok generation, a 2 minutes of attention span, to tease you to want to pay to get the next episode kind of thing. You're going to see a lot more of that trash content. You're going to see the streaming service spend money on game shows and reality TV type stuff because they can churn that out for next to no money. You're going to see a real dive in content, and whether you get to see more Star Wars on streaming services, I would start to bring some doubts into that if we'll see anything beyond Ahsoka Season 2.
Yeah, I think it's actually going to be more dramatic than that. We find ourselves quite often these days watching YouTube, and there's a bunch of YouTubers out there that they're really good presenters, and we've really got into them now. So when we're watching TV at night, it's YouTube generally, which is bizarre. And I suppose
you're starting to see that because you've got Mr. Beast with Beast Games on Amazon.
Yeah,
you've got the Sidemen with, I forget what it's called. I think it's called Inside. Their reality TV show on Netflix. So you're starting to see the crossover from those platforms. But all that's going to happen is you're going to send people back to YouTube.
Yeah.
And people are going to consume this short, fast content. And it's not the death knell of TV and film, but it's changed it in not a good way.
Yeah. And it's made it particularly difficult in terms of advertising revenues as well.
Yeah.
Because advertisers aren't going to sign up for what is now a very thinly spread viewing figure across all platforms. Things on ITV and BBC that used to get 20 million views, these days are lucky if they get 6, 7 million. They probably don't even get that.
And that's a brilliant point. And the best part of it to show that that's the case is if you watch something on Disney Plus and you take the ad package, so the cheapest package, the adverts that break up the show will end up being adverts for Disney Plus and Disney products, so which is basically showing you that they have not sold that advertising space.
Correct.
So what they're doing is making you as a viewer's viewing experience worse by inserting adverts that they haven't even sold. It's ludicrous.
It is. Oh, dear.
So I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting to see what Lucasfilm do, whether there's more Star Wars TV shows happen in the future. But if there is, they're going to have to be done dramatically differently, which is inevitably going to lead to criticism that doesn't look as good as Andor. The special effects aren't as good. Like Obi-Wan faced that kind of criticism.
Shocking. Some of that was absolutely shocking.
You're not going to find it goes on location like Andor did. It's going to be all done in the volume.
Yeah.
And it's interesting times. We've done it to ourselves, is what the industry's going to have to admit to. But yeah, we could have had the Emperor. This is the worst case of the worst thing.
That was the rabbit hole we went down. That was the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Anyway, that's unhappy times. Let's talk fun times. Star Wars Fun Day, Paul.
Fantastic.
One of our favourite events.
It is. I mean, you've been so many times over the years. I've probably been to the last 6 or 7. It's just a great day out. For people who haven't been to it, get along to Star Wars Fun Day. But even better, if you can get along to the night before and go to the meal with the stars, that is just exceptional. The food is always really good. The stars are very relaxed. You're guaranteed at least one on your table. And it's just a great night out. There's raffles and all sorts. But, it's something that I think as Fanta Tracks, we've always supported it. And we've always been made to feel very welcome. In fact, we had an award, didn't we?
We did.
A couple of years back. Yeah.
We did, very kindly give us a nice award for our contributions and support over the years.
Yeah. Will you be there the next one, Brian? Will you be at that one?
I don't know. It's actually, they've kind of changed things up this year, and that it's going to be on the Monday. So it's on Monday, the 4th of May. So you can't forget.
Yeah.
You can't forget that. Benefit of that is you can actually go to an event and enjoy yourself all day instead of having to see all the trash releases online from the commercialism of May the 4th. So you can avoid all the emails and avoid all the crap of that day, because I hate it. I hate what it's become.
Well, if you remember, the one this year was May the 4th as well, because May the 4th fell on Sunday this year.
Yeah. So the dinner's on the Sunday night, the event's on the Monday, but it's what we have in the UK, we call them bank holidays. So you get about 7 or 8 days a year that the government determine are bank holidays, which literally means that the banks do close that day. So anything corporate's supposed to shut down. But it's very much an English concept. It doesn't exist in my part of the UK. In Scotland, some of our bank holidays are different days than England, for example. But even then, people typically still work, unlike in England, where you're all lounge about doing nothing. And we take our holidays at other times of the year. So
come over, bro.
Ordinarily, I would not have bank holiday May the 4th next year off. So whether I can make it or not depends. Depends on my employment situation at the time. We'll see whether I can get that day off or not.
We won't dwell on that.
Yeah. So hopefully, love to be there. Would do whatever I can to be there. Love that show. Love the guys that run it. And you can actually go to our YouTube channel and check out the videos from previous years there as well. Great event. Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Awesome comment here from Paul McHugh, and I agree 100%. He said it before, and you'll say it again, bring back the Star Wars show to promote Lucasfilm on YouTube and Disney. I couldn't agree more. I actually made this comment, I think, when we were down at Droids Day. Paul wasn't there, so he never heard it. But I think I was speaking with Mr. Newbold about how they promote Star Wars. And as much as I would criticise elements of the Star Wars show, because it was very cheesy and very Disney, not my cup of tea, it brought a focus every single week that they had to have something to announce. They had to have something to engage with the fans. They had to steer the conversation. And that was a very positive. And I actually, over the last few weeks, have gone back and I have downloaded every single Star Wars show episode.
Do you have a plan, Mr. Cameron? Do you have a plan? Is that what we're going to
talk about that another time. Offline, perhaps. But when you look at it and you start flicking through the shows, and they've actually deleted some of the Star Wars shows, but I can remember what the content was in that show. when they announce particular things that have subsequently not happened. So much great content out there. And they also did long-form interviews with Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni. You actually felt like there was communication happening. You knew what was happening. Things were more positive. And I actually think since they've got rid of the Star Wars show, a lot more of the negativity seeped in. One, because there wasn't constant Star Wars news coming out in a positive manner.
Yeah.
And two, there wasn't a focus. So you could go weeks and months without any news. And then you get a splurge of news. And we're going to be talking about Starfighter later in the episode. Very positive for the way that they announced that and announced the cast. I hope we see a lot more of that throughout the production, because I'm one of these guys that looks back to the prequel era, and you had the set diaries and the webcam on the set and things like that. And it was great fun.
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because that shot that they released just took me straight back to 1997, 1998, when we were starting to get the odd shot of Naboo and different things. That took me straight back to that.
Yeah,
it really did.
But when you've got your own thing like the Star Wars show, you can focus attention. And if they had the Star Wars show and they put it out on Disney Plus as well, you could focus people's attention to certain episodes and shows and get them to watch content. Think about it, Disney.
You might
Talking
even
about
need a
the
queuing
need
system
for something like a Star Wars show. Slick link into the next news article here, Paul. Reservations are no longer needed to visit Oga's Cantina at Disneyland Anaheim. The only reason for that, lack of people attending.
Yeah.
And if you had the Star Wars show and you did an episode live from Disney Park, that might encourage people. Let's go on holiday to Batuu this year.
Perfect place,
and it would be cheap and easy for them to do that kind of content.
Yeah, absolutely. We solved it.
I've been to Oga's Cantina. We made a reservation. We've paid extremely high prices for very colourful concoctions that weren't particularly enjoyable. We had to listen to a droid DJing. I wouldn't be standing in a queue to get in. So if you can walk up, fantastic. When it talks about a traditional standby queue, I'm not queuing to get in.
No. Do you remember I came away with a tiki cup, which I think cost me about $50, but still, there you go. It looks like I was going
to say, did you buy it or did it slip in a pocket?
No. No, it was served in one, but then if you wanted to buy it, they gave you a boxed one. So it's quite nice, actually.
I forget the name of the restaurant, but did you buy the spork?
No. I know the restaurant you mean.
I got a spork in a little mesh bag.
May the spork be with you.
Yeah,
no, I didn't get one.
Look at this wonderful Star Wars tat that I'll never use and I'll never come out the little mesh bag.
I bet Mr. Newball's got one.
Oh, Mr. Newball's bound to have a spork. Absolutely. You know what you could use your spork to do, Paul?
Well, it's a spoon and a fork, so I'm guessing...
Eat some meat is what you could do.
It's seamless tonight.
Seamless link again. PETA have asked George Lucas to make the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art restaurant 100% vegan. Let's see what they've said before Brian goes off with one. There we go. Mr. Newball's chiming in. The restaurant's called Dock and Bay 7 and it's worth it for the sporks.
We went.
And he does have a spork as well. Anyway, he could use it to eat a bit of meat. Dear Mr. Lucas, greetings from your many fans here at PETA. We can't wait to visit the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art. Just as your films have inspired generations to imagine a better universe, your new museum has the power to set a shining example here on Earth by serving only vegan food in its restaurants. Immediately wrong. Because I don't think the films do inspire a better universe.
No.
Yeah. Anyway. Next, let's carry on with where PETA get it wrong. Like the Galactic Empire, the meat, egg, and dairy industries are powerful, destructive, and cruel. That's a shocking comment. Democratically elected Galactic Empire. The Jedi are supposed to be peacekeepers of justice in the galaxy, go about killing people. There we go. PETA, think about where your position is. Just as Tatooine paddy frogs don't want to be eaten, chickens, turkeys, fish, pigs, and other animals want to live in peace. but in slaughterhouses they have their throats slit and are dismembered, sometimes while still alive and able to feel pain. The only way to kill something is to kill it whilst it's alive. Otherwise, you can't kill it.
It's already dead.
Yeah. On dairy farms, calves are ripped from their mothers shortly after birth so that the milk meant for them can be sold to humans instead. Not true. On egg farms, hens are packed together wing to wing in warehouses like sheds and never go outside. Actually, if you've got a shed of hens and you open the doors wide open, very rarely will the hens choose to go outside. So correct these as I go. Those atrocities aren't happening in a galaxy far, far away. Yes, they are. You see literally in Andor, you see all that cattle, basically on the corn planet that are there to be milked.
We've got Chewie eating a pork.
They're all drinking blue milk and green milk.
Kowakian monkey lizards being spit roasted.
All that different colours milk. They're milking everything in the can out there. So the claim these atrocities aren't happening in a galaxy far, far away. They weren't when the Emperor was in charge, that's for sure. They're happening here on Earth. Fortunately, we have the power to fight for animals and we don't need lightsabers to do it. Just a spoon and fork, which, if they combined, we could have a spork, couldn't they? To eat root leaf stew. Does that sound nice?
Delicious.
Yeah. There we go. Spit roasted. Blimey. We might come back to that point later, Mark. A raise in killing animals' food is also polluting our water, destroying our forests, and filling our atmosphere with methane and carbon dioxide. Actually, if you didn't have farmers to look after animals, you would find that more dead carcasses would end up in the water, and there'd be nobody there to take them out, and that would poison the waters. The climate catastrophe, we'll not go there, is like a Death Star poised to destroy Earth. The Death Star was an energy project, if you've watched Andor. Gormans, that's what PETA is. Gormans, that's what they are. We cannot simply hitch a ride on the transport to another planet. We must defend the only planet we have. We've got more than one planet. Look out there. Look to the stars. Did you not see the launch of SpaceX's latest project this week, PETA? We're going to move to the moon. When it comes to avoiding the worst effects of climate change, it's do or do not. There is no try. Well, let's not bother trying then. Because we're not doing it at the moment, are we?
Let's leave it.
One of the most effective daily things we can do is to stop Earth from hurtling towards climate catastrophe at light speed is to go vegan. Thankfully, the future is vegan. By making our museum dining options all vegan, we'd help visitors rebel against animal abuse, strike back against climate change, and awaken the force of kindness in a new generation. Please don't be a nerf herder. Let this museum embody the inclusive and forward-thinking vision it celebrates. May the forks be with you. And just to end this, I'd like to point out that Mr. George Lucas is a Wagyu beef farmer on his ranch at Skywalker Ranch. PETA, you've missed wide of the point. If anything, you're going to find a lovely Wagyu steak on sale at the Lucas Museum. I can almost guarantee it. And I'll be looking forward to going to the Lucas Museum and tucking into one from Mr. Lucas's farm.
Oh dear. It reads like a really bad letter to Jim will fix it, and we all know what happened there.
The problem is, right, very good, PETA could bring awareness to issues of animal cruelty, and they do. Issues of animal cruelty exist. But all this is telling people what they should and shouldn't do, which is the one thing people hate. If they'd suggested, make sure you've got vegan options on your menu, Mr. Lucas. Exactly. I think they would have had 100% support across the board. As soon as you tell people there's only one correct way to do things, not remotely interested in anything you've got to say. They've completely lost the point in recent years of PETA. They're merely interested in making waves in the media rather than doing anything constructive, and that's just another example.
Yeah. So basically what we're saying is don't stick your carrot-shaped nose into other people's business.
Yep. And
exactly.
Look into the individual before you send him a letter, tell him to go vegan in his restaurant, and you might learn that he's actually a beef farmer. Well done, Peter.
Do you reckon George read that and thought, I could murder a steak?
I could go a steak right now with my spoon and fork.
With my spore.
Yeah, here we go, Mr. Booker. Vegans. Ugh.
Now, hang on.
Yeah, definitely when it's squeaky bun time, fear of cancellation, time of the week, Brian's rant. We should make that a segment now. Brian's rant of the week. We're always here. If you want to be vegan. Just don't expect other people to be. If I want to eat meat, I'm not going to make you eat it with me.
Everything should be about choice. Electric vehicles, everything should be about choice.
Star Wars Starfighter should be about bringing an electrical vehicle to the Star Wars galaxy. Because they're constantly got wars over fuel in the galaxy far, far away. They could resolve it with a nice solar panel Starfighter.
No, so what happens is you've got the first half an hour of the film, and then you've got the 40-hour section where they're just charging it up. So you just have to, you might pop out and get a bag of crisps or something, or do something, and then it'll pick up right at the end again with another half hour. Perfect. That's what we'll do. EV Star Wars. Let's go for it.
Big news of the week. Not PETA, but the announcement that Star Wars Starfighter. I can't say it, man. It's good. I have to do this for the next 2 years. Star Wars Starfighter has begun production. A few weeks later than what we'd originally heard it was going to be, but it started last week of August. And we got our first photo from the set featuring Ryan Gosling and a young actor by the name of Flynn Gray sitting on a speeder in a very retro casual pose there. Very reminiscent of young Han Solo that we spoke about earlier and the kind of vibe that gave off.
Do you think that actor there, the young actor, might be playing the same character but a few years earlier?
No.
No? Okay.
No. The rumoured plot...
Shoot me down.
The rumoured plot is that Ryan Gosling's character is protecting the young character from the evil Empire. Terrible, we would say that. Who are going to be played by Mia Goth and Matt Smith. Yeah. And that's the general gist of the plot.
And this is set about 10 years after the sequel trilogy. I think
it is something like that.
Yeah,
I think it's completely void and separate from that. I don't think it is really particularly relevant as to.
And just in terms of the time scale.
Yeah, it's going to be a standalone adventure. It's began production, an entirely original story, set in a period of time never explored in Star Wars. Out in theaters May 28th, 2027.
Yeah.
Speaking about it, Sean Levy, the director, said, "I have a real profound sense of excitement and honour as we begin production of Star Wars Starfighter." Said it first time that time. From the day that Kathy Kennedy called me up, invited me to develop an original adventure in the incredible Star Wars galaxy, I feared getting sacked before production began. No, it didn't say that. He said, "This experience has been a dream come true, creatively and personally. Star Wars shaped my sense of what story can be, how characters and cinematic moments can live with us forever. To join the storytelling galaxy with such brilliant collaborators on screen and off is a thrill of a lifetime." It's going to be directed by him. It's going to be produced by him and Kathleen Kennedy. Ryan Gosling is getting an executive producer role. Alongside Dan Levine and Mary McLagan and Josh McLagan, who were with John Levy on Deadpool. The script is by Jonathan Tropper. As you pointed out, Ryan Gosling's getting a wee bit of cash there with the extra executive producer credit. How involved he is in producing, I'm sure he's not out there raising the money to get the production made. I'm sure he's just taking an extra %.
I suppose you could argue that's why he was in Japan.
Mr. Newbold confirms 5 years after episode 9.
Thank you.
So yeah, really, really interesting is what I would say. Don't know what to expect.
No, like I was saying before, that when that picture dropped, it just reminds me of back in the day when we were starting to see bits of episode 1 leaked to us. No context whatsoever, just a picture.
Yeah. We also got other cast, which is a very collective cast, because there's a lot of cast in there who are from a stage or musical background or from a comedy background. which might mean that this is a little, I'm not going to say it's going to be Deadpool-esque, but it's going to have that traditional Sean Levy element of humour attached to it. Flynn Gray we don't know much about because he's just a young guy, and he's kind of been in a few episodes here and there. Aaron Pierre, Simon Bird we know well from The In-Betweeners, Briefcase Wanker.
Bumder.
Bumder. All sorts of exciting content out there for our American friends to discover. Search for Simon Bird on YouTube. Okay, don't do it when your parents are around.
Watch Friday Night Dinner.
I'm going to call it now that Simon Bird will be a droid.
Yeah, I agree.
He has that vibe with his mannerisms and voice. He
His
can pull that
awkwardness.
off quite well. Interestingly, he hasn't done a lot of acting since the In-Betweeners. He's very much moved into production and directing. Does a lot via the BBC. He's quite successful as a director himself and a producer himself. Interesting.
Have you not watched Friday Night Dinner?
Yeah, but that Friday Night Dinner's been dead for about 5-6 years. It's on air a long time ago. Just because it keeps getting. Clearly, the residuals in that were very low because it gets pumped out everywhere.
Exactly.
But great, another great comedy. Jamel Westman, Hamilton musical, very famous for that. Star of stage, really.
Yeah.
Daniel Ings, who initially I thought the footballer. But no, it's Daniel Ings who's in the Game of Thrones spin-off. Duncan Egg, it doesn't go by that, it goes by a different name. His name has escaped me at this point in time. That's coming out next year. The Hedge King, I think it is. And Amy Adams as well. I'm going to have to look up Daniel Ings just to make sure I'm getting that right.
Amy Adams is a nice addition to the cast.
Yeah. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. He's going to play in Sir Lionel Baratheon. Fans of Game of Thrones will know it as the Duncan Egg series of short stories from George R. Martin. So he's going to be one of the characters in that. It's due out next year from HBO.
Yeah.
You mean Briefcase Obi-Wanker? Yes, that's
we got there.
Amy Adams, rumoured to be playing Flynn Gray's mother in the series.
Okay.
So yeah, a very interesting cast, and strangely for Star Wars, not a cast of unknowns. There's actually some reasonable named people in there, being Gosling, Goth, Matt Smith.
Well, the Matt Smith one in
Amy
itself
Adams.
is interesting. Yeah, the Matt Smith one's interesting anyway, isn't it? Because he was originally going to be
Young
Clone of the
Palpatine.
Emperor. So whether or not they've gone back to that idea, who knows?
No, I think I think they liked his audition or his work on it, and it's brought it back full circle. Mia Goth, from the X trilogy of films. So typically quite dark, moody characters. Next on screen in The Odyssey, starring Matt Damon,
and
which
Brian
is
Cameron
next summer. And me, I'm in it. I didn't share the screen with Mia Goth. I shared the screen with Tom Holland and Matt Damon.
name dropper.
Look forward to that one next year, people. Star and roll. As Mark said, somehow Palpatine returned again and again.
Yay.
Big Kev, Matt Smith is the UK Pedro Pascal. It's kind of true. He's also in the world of Game of Thrones, House of Dragons. Matt Smith back on screen. Soon, I think it will be. And they're moving on to season 3 very sharply. So yeah, a very interesting mix of a cast, Paul.
Yeah. I mean, I just hope that with it being such a significant year the 50th anniversary of the original Star Wars, you're just hoping that it's going to be something very good. Touch wood.
Yep.
Should be all right.
On the back of all the cast and writer and producer announcements, we also got the rumour, which I think is pretty much confirmed, that Claudio Miranda is going to be the director of photography of Star Wars Starfighter. People may not know the name because how many people know the names of cinematographers, but you will know his work if you've been to the cinema recently and seen F1, which was filmed in such a wonderful way. Top Gun Maverick, again, filmed in such a wonderful way. He was Oscar nominated for The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, so a lot of very uniquely filmed projects, and I'm just interested to see whether that means there's going to be a very interesting and unique take to how this film is made.
Yeah, I mean, potentially there we're going to see some really good shots from within cockpits, aren't we? So, yeah, that'd be a nice thing to see in Star Wars, some progression.
Yeah. World of Real suggests that it means that Levy's going to be looking for a similar level of slick, high-octane visual spectacle for Starfighter.
Yeah.
Those of you who watched F1, of course, a lot of it filmed on Apple iPhones. It was made for Apple Plus, though it got a cinema release. Very unique way, and they designed very unique rigs and ways of handling the iPhones in order that they get very unique footage. So the guy's very interested in experimenting and doing things differently to get this kind of unique visual spectacle. So very interested to see what this is going to be. And a lot of people obviously speculating, because it's Star Wars Starfighter, said it correctly again, I'm getting better, that it's going to be pod racer-esque, and that it's going to be very much that high octane feel.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Kevin making a point. The unique take is hopefully that it's a good movie. At this point, that would be unique. Full of the positives. Kev, tell us what's your thoughts on the HasLab, Kev? I'm sure you're a backer. How many have you backed? Let us know. That, Paul, is this week's news.
That's some good stuff in there, though, isn't there?
It was. It was
good to come back with some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And some positivity, which
Absolutely.
is good.
Time for the Death Star Cometh?
Let's go for it. Let's cometh to the Death Star.
Let's do it. I've got that completely wrong, so let's get rid of that text, because I never updated it. I completely forgot about the episode is all about the rebellion.
You're forgiven, because you've been pretty poorly bad. We were talking yesterday. Well, we were exchanging messages yesterday. There was some doubt as to whether you were going to have a voice today.
It is. It's holding in there. I'm on the sugar-free Red Bull.
Well, that'll do it.
No idea. Wasn't prescribed.
Well, you'll be awake all night. Whether you can talk is another matter.
Yeah. As Mark said, some good news this week. It's been mad on fathertracks.com. Lots to get covered.
Yeah. Excellent.
On Andor. This week, interesting episode. Welcome to the Rebellion, and we started as you should be. The arrest of the Gorman senator. He'd been mouthing off all his Gorman slanderous comments about the Emperor and the Emperor, claiming that there was injustice going on in Gorman. I would like to point out that they're a member of the Galactic Empire. They're a member of the Galactic Empire by choice. If the people of Gorman were not happy, should have voted to leave. Gormexit.
Exit.
So don't blame the institutions that you're a member of. That's what I say. Anyway, watching on, a couple of rebel scum there. Mon Mothma and fake Bail Organa.
Fake.
Clearly they don't check IDs as they enter the Senate close enough, and we'll come back to that point.
Benjamin walks into the office and puts on the costume. Oh, you must be Bail Organa.
Undercover agent for the rebellion, hanging out at Luthien Rail Shop. I don't get this scene at all. This just seems stupid to me. It's like don't shit where you eat is kind of the comment that comes to mind. And it's just like, if you're an undercover agent, don't go and hang out at your boss's work, you know? But he's there having a little chat with Kayla, and he basically says to Kayla that he's had enough and he's ready to quit. And she's basically, oh, you've had enough, have you? Oh, too hard for you. She's like, kind of throws it back in his face. So it is an interesting little scene, but the location of it, stupid. We then cut to Mon Mothma's apartment, where they find a bug underneath her drug station. Is the only thing I can think that is, because it kind of looks like some kind of lightable candle type thing inside a bong. Don't know what else you could call it.
It's a kettle.
Do you think?
I think that's what it's meant to be.
What's the two control knobs then? Is that for heating it? Don't know.
Yeah,
anyway,
I think so.
they find a listening device, and it is, of course, the security bureau making sure that she's protected. That are listening in.
Of course, they were making sure she was protected. Of course, that's what they were doing.
Yeah, and of course, if you're concerned you're being watched and listened to, what's the next thing you do? Go and meet your rebel agent in a public place, like outside the Senate. Bizarre episode choices of locations. And they have a bit of a argument because she finds out that her little assistant is actually one of Luther and Rail's people as well, and she didn't know about it, so she's kind of a little bit bitter that he only tells her what he wants to tell her. And they have a little bit of a little set too. Meanwhile, at the ISB, they're organising for what they believe is going to be Mon Mothma causing trouble at the Senate by speaking out against our glorious democratically elected emperor. And of course, we are best to meet up to discuss your plans to speak out against the emperor. It's in the loading bay right outside the Senate, so let's all meet in public. So Letha and Kayla and Cassian meet up there and discuss how Mon Mothma's going to do a great big grand speech, and then they're going to have to rescue her. Why? Because Bail Organa has Imperial spies in his camp, Paul. So he can't be trusted either.
No, sorry, I went on mute then. No, well, this is what it is. This is all setting different people against each other, and after a while, each character must be so sort of paranoid because they don't know who they can trust. But it's been dealt with brilliantly in both seasons of Andor.
Yeah. Coming back to HasLab, but Kev's ordered 0. They never listen.
I'm with you there, Kev. Bang on. Yeah.
Yeah, so interesting arguments as to what they're going to do. Meanwhile, as a good citizen, Mon Mothma's driver reports into the security bureau about how she's been hanging out in the Senate building all night. She's not come home. She's had a dirty stop out.
In the chauffeur-driven limousine.
Yeah. We then meet Bail Organa's people. They all arrive and pass through security and have to show their IDs. Clearly he didn't, because he showed a fake ID. Looks nothing like Bail Organa. And Cassian,
none of them do.
He goes to the sort of receptionist, I guess, because he's appearing there as a journalist just back from Gorman, and but he doesn't get a nice seat in the press box. He's told to hang about in the corridor. Bail's crew, they all meet up, and the ISB, they're well aware of Mon Mothma's plans, and so they're alert to it as well. Best way to hide your secret rebel alliance is once again to meet in public in the halls of the Senate to discuss your plans. Cassian, meanwhile, is in the press room there. Some dodgy looking journalists reporting. And
ignore my skidding dog.
Yeah. And they all start watching Senate proceedings, where this owl
What on earth is that?
makes a grand speech in support of the Empire. Applaud his comments.
Now, I can only think that I fell asleep watching this because I don't recognise either of these characters at all.
Churchill, he did a
Churchill, yeah.
little rendition as well. And meanwhile, Bail Organa's people are hanging out in a closet, it looks like. And turns out that this gentleman, he's not part of the dodgy secret Imperial infiltration of Bail Organa's team. So he gets shot for his trouble.
Yeah, he was actually there as Mace Windu. Yeah.
Bail, he makes a little speech and passes a uncommon motion that allows Mon Mothma to do a grand speech. So she comes forward and does her grand speech, and she's actually locked herself inside her little pod room. So the receptionist kind of guy, he can't get in. Back in her taxi cab, the driver's listening in and shocked and appalled at the things that Mon Mothma is saying, the lies that she perpetrates about the glorious Emperor. None of which she doesn't bring forward any evidence of the claims that she makes. Just spurious allegations. The ISB, they're listening in, they're not happy because she's spouting such shocking things. So they instruct the receptionist guy, switch off the communications from the Senate floor so you can no longer hear what she's saying. And if they'd been watching, you would have seen a lot of the senators weren't happy with what Mon Mothma was saying. A lot of support out there for the Emperor. Bail Organa watching on there as Mon Mothma continues her rant. Luthien and Kayla, they realise that her speech has been cut off and is no longer being broadcast. And so they realise that the game's up and they're going to have to evacuate her. Cassian's been sent to collect her because she can't trust her to be rescued by Bail Organa's team. And so Cassian uses I have friends everywhere to let her know that he's part of Luthien's little team. And the ISB kick into action because they're going to arrest Mon Mothma, who exits through the media pool room and is confronted by one of Bail Organa's team who says, "I'm here to escort you." And when that is rejected, she pulls a gun. And it all gets rather heated all of a sudden. And Mon Mothma's aide makes a shocking claim that she's a rebel scum. And she turns the gun on him, which gives Cassian the opportunity to kill once again for the second episode in a row after killing the beloved Cyril. Another headshot there.
In your face.
He's getting good at this, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Just randomly kills people without a care in the world. And doesn't kill the other guy, though. They swap jackets and they kind of make an escape. The Imperial Senate Police, meanwhile, have broken into Mon Mothma's pod, but they're like half an hour too late. This would have been a great opportunity to bring back Cyril's friend. He could have been one of the Senate Police. Missed opportunity. Yes,
very much, yeah.
Anyway, stormtroopers are entering the Senate building. ISB, he's not very happy, is he?
He was definitely in season 1. I've got a feeling he might have been in Rogue One as well. But
he was very good as this season progressed. I actually thought that our driver was going to kill himself because he was so disgusted and appalled with what she just said. But I got it completely wrong. Kayla and Luthien, they're leaving the docking bay area, so the plan's all gone to pot on the basis that places flooded with stormtroopers. How they never foresaw that one, don't know. So Cassian and Mon Mothma are kind of escaping through the back corridors of the Senate. Her driver, now very anxious, hasn't killed himself. But we get some lovely wide shots of where they're filming in Spain because they spent a lot of money to be there. So we must get some glory shots in there.
Yeah.
He decides to go and find her and confront her himself. So he goes running up the steps. Very beautiful location. Gonna have to visit there one day, Paul.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm up for that. Yeah. I'm trying to remember what it is. I think is it some sort of council building or
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
like
remember what it was.
science and one of these science and
Was it?
technology buildings. You know, they build things and you
Yeah.
don't really know what they're going to do with them. Get that impression, like a wasted
Yeah.
government project. And the driver, he confronts them, basically calls them scum.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what does Cassian do? Kills another person. Just lying dead there. Beautiful wide shot of him just being dead. They leg it down the steps. Meanwhile, fake Organa. Do you think this is the point he realises that democracy is dead?
I think that's the time he realises he's the fake organ.
Cassian, meanwhile, stolen Mon Mothma's taxi cab, and he goes driving off, and they go away into the distance of Coruscant, which we'd think on a planet like that would have good security and they'd be able to track a vehicle, but they don't. And they head back to his apartment, which we'll see in a minute. Meanwhile, on Yavin, a particular gun is picked out from the table of weapons.
Yeah.
When asked, whose gun does this belong to? Who pops up, Paul?
The old mate Melshi.
There he goes.
There he is.
That was a nice
Kind
little
of
cameo thrown in there, which just tees him up for when he appears a little bit more in the next few episodes. Doesn't really have a killer scene.
No, he doesn't. No, I was disappointed in that. But I've tried to model myself on him, you know.
But Mon Mothma's going back to what will soon become a very famous corridor. Back to Cassian's apartment. And where our Ada is, where Kayla is. And a weird Will.I.am in bed, injured and ill, along with his bit of stuff that he was having sex with in front of everybody on Gorman, if you remember.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you've got it.
Yeah. Another plot point, like his drug abuse with Saw Gerrera. Just another plot point that goes nowhere, featuring him. You kind of think that there was a lot of scenes with him that have been left in the cutting room floor. Mon Mothma, she's kind of realising that her Will.I.am gets stretchered off and taken to the meds. And we get lots of little Rogue One cameos.
Yeah. Good to see.
Cassian goes back home. And I picked this brilliant freeze frame of Bix just to prove she's still on the drugs. Definitely. Her and Mon Mothma, drug addicts. And she has a tough conversation with Cassian, where Cassian basically tells her that he's had enough, he can't go on, he can't be a rebel anymore. He's had his fill, quite emotional. But then, when he wakes up in the morning, the bed next to him's empty. Goes outside, she's not there. He switches on his data pad and she's left a message for him. She's left him, Paul. Were you surprised by that?
He's left him. Well, I suppose they had to do that to separate her away from him for the forthcoming Rogue One.
That's very true.
It was a strange choice of destination for her, though, wasn't it?
It was.
Going back to somewhere where she'd been traumatized, but still, you know, that's the way the show was written.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Fake Empire news.
Fake organ.
Cassian, very upset, goes sprinting across the jungle and through the camp, looking for her desperately. In complete agony and upset, wants to stop her leaving. And then someone says to him, oh, by the way, we've fixed the droid. And then he completely, it doesn't matter about Bix anymore. We've got a droid to play with. He immediately heads in where you've got the K2SO unit on the bench all strapped down. They all aim guns of it and they've reprogrammed it. And it wakes up. And it is the Alan Tudyk performed K2SO that we all know and love. Basically asking, what's he done wrong that you're all pointing guns at me?
Yeah, very reminiscent of Frankenstein or even Darth Vader when he's first sort of shown in episode 3.
So the takeaway from that was that Cassian replaced Bix within inside 10 seconds with a droid. So all this, oh, poor Cassian, what about his sort of secret affection for Jin? And, you know, his love affair with Jin happened, 10 seconds after K2SO was killed. He moves on quick, does Cassian. Not only is he a cold-blooded killer, he's a cold-blooded lover.
He has to have an attachment. he is parasitical. There you go.
And that was episode 9 of Andor. Your general thoughts, Paul?
Well, my general thoughts are that I must have watched that one when I was tired, because there's definitely several points in that where I nodded off, because I do not recollect Owlman or Churchill. I do not recollect.
There's a lot of weird scenes in it, and I think that's why it's easily forgotten.
Yeah.
Like plot points that are introduced but never really followed through with, and it was a strange, disjointed episode. I think out of the episodes we get this series, it was the least enjoyable. I think the only real takeaway is people really enjoyed seeing Mon Mothma's speech.
Yeah,
but what I thought should have happened at the end of the speech, the floor of the chamber should have opened up and the Emperor should have rose out and started blasting people with bits of lightsaber lightning. That would have been cool.
It did need something. It did. It needed something very significant.
He should have fired a laser bolt from his fingertips towards Mon Mothma and missed and blasted open the door or something.
Oh, it hit fake Organa.
He should have turned up. He should have turned up and interrupted that speech. Because basically, he's the holder of democracy in the galaxy, and he wasn't there while she was ripping democracy apart.
Yeah.
Once again, her planet could have voted to leave the Galactic Empire, as could every other planet within that Senate. They were all there, democratically, willingly. All the powers they gave the Emperor, they voted in. Their choices.
We're never going to convince you.
You voted in Angela Rayner. Get live with it now.
Excuse me, I did not vote in Angela.
But the country did. So if your planet voted in that individual or that to join that government, then you've kind of got to live with it.
Hey, look, if we've got to carry on with this government, I'd rather suffer the same fate as
bear me 1 minute. I dropped my computer mouse here.
It's not just thrown together, you know. It's not just thrown together.
But yeah, if the country votes in the Republicans, the country votes in Labour, you've got to live with it. Yeah. And if you don't like it, you've got to raise enough public opinion to vote in an alternative. And that's the lesson we learned in this episode. If these people didn't like the Emperor, then they should have had enough people in that Senate could have voted him out. In the same way that they voted him in.
He's back, folks. He's definitely back.
Because they didn't find a way to democratically remove him, they moved to violence. So if you can't, basically that said, if you can't get rid of Angela Rayner or Donald Trump, the only way is to turn violent. That's the lesson we've learned this week.
So, on that bombshell.
Blimey, a little bit of politics.
Thank you, Ben Elton.
As Paul points out as well, it's a great point. This is the episode they put forward for Emmy nomination because of the wordsmith Mothma speech. And I think that's why they won't get it, because this wasn't the best episode of Andor. If you switch this on and watch this in isolation in order to vote for something for an Emmy award, it's quite a disjointed and confusing episode. Beyond that speech, which was a very powerful, great scene. The rest of the episode doesn't make sense.
Personally, I think as uncomfortable a watch as it was, the scene where Bix has to fight off the Imperial that's trying to attack her, that should have been the one that was submitted for the Emmy.
Yeah, that was a brilliant episode.
Fantastic acting.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. That was a brilliant episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's strange. This is the episode they put forward. I think it was the weakest of them.
Yeah, I mean the speech was brilliant, but
yes,
the rest of it was a bit of fluff, really.
I still remain shocked that there was a lack of actor nominations.
Yeah. Yeah.
That still shocks me. But then it shocks me. The Emmys aren't great either because I'm obviously a wrestling fan. Mr. Newbold is as well, and he'll back me up on that. The whole Bloodline story that's been in WWE over the last 3-4 years should be Emmy nominated. There's certain product, science fiction falls into it, wrestling falls into it, that's looked down on by the rest of Hollywood. And so you don't get the recognition that they deserve. Because that story, like a 4-year story, has been a masterpiece. Same as elements of Andor's performances in Andor, they won't get the recognition because it's not the kind of content that they like in Hollywood. You'll get some arty-farty film that nobody's seen and people will be nominated for. And it's always this thing in Hollywood you don't get to. You get certain actors take certain roles because that's the one I'll get voted for so I can get my Oscar. And they all know it's a rubbish role and a rubbish film, but I need to do it if I want to get the award, rather than the project that they're famous for or they're successful for or they perform really well. That you have to pick your projects.
I told you, Winsley, you do a Holocaust film, you'll get an award.
Yeah, that's the kind of attitude, though.
It
that's
is,
what sucks. It's not what deserves to get voted for or nominated more. As Mr. Newbold says, couldn't agree more. Bloodline was a great weekly drama of the early 2020s. It was brilliant. It was a masterpiece. And interesting comment as well. I think they're relying too heavily on real-world issues being compared to it since it aired. Yeah, I think you're right in a way. And I don't think it was necessarily intentional either, because obviously they were writing and filming this before a lot of things happened in the real world, but it just kind of landed in a particular time frame, and they've tried to maybe capitalise on that a little bit. But yeah, there was elements of this, but there was definitely, as you say, the whole sort of violent scene to do around the harvest really was the most powerful, emotional piece of Star Wars writing and directing, acting I've seen, I think, ever on a Star Wars project.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And if you're going to put something forward for success, that was it, I think.
Yeah.
Because this episode is very hard if you want to show an episode to random Joe Blogs voter that votes in the Emmy. Very hard for them to comprehend the meaning and the impact of Mon Mothma's speech.
Yeah.
If they don't know the wider implications and story and so on.
Yeah. Maybe even the marriage episode where Mon Mothma, quite rightly is lost and
another episode where Mon Mothma goes off in a drug-filled
especially with that banging tune. That's what we want. Yeah.
Namios.
That's it.
Yeah, so that's this week's Death Star Cometh, Paul.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. So 3 more episodes to go.
Yeah, into the last block. What could possibly happen?
Final stretch. Well, I don't know. Yes, I know.
So that's us covered the news. That's us covered this week's episode of Andor. We won't be back with a live show next week. We're going to be recording a special during the week for broadcast next Sunday because I'm headed away to a wedding celebration next weekend, and I've taken an extra day because I'll be down in London just to enjoy myself. I might hit up some Andor locations if I'm down there and I have the time.
And then the following week will be a pre-record as well, I believe.
No, back the following week.
Oh, are we?
And then the following week after that, we'll be at Star Fury Invasion, where we'll be meeting Diego Luna, and we can say to his face, "You rebel scum.
You cold-blooded, face-shooting killer."
I'll be getting my photo taken with Deidre and Cyril. And,
have you got it booked?
Stand awkwardly between them. That'll be interesting. I think I'm also getting my photo taken with Kayla, and I can't remember who else. A third one as well. Prices are very good for photos, by the way. If you're
have you pre-ordered? Have you pre-ordered your
Of
your
course,
photos,
I'm not just going to rock up and expect my photo taken. I'm a professional at this, Paul.
No, I wasn't sure whether you were going to book them on the day. So no, you pre-ordered, right?
No, pre-ordered. I think Diego Luna might be sold out. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll have one take them in the Fantas. Definitely.
Yeah.
We'll wing something.
Yeah, definitely. So it's going to be a busy few weeks for us, covering lots of things.
Yeah, I wonder what we could do a pre-record on.
Yeah. But we'll be talking HasLab next Sunday show. One day before the deadline, what's going to happen.
Yeah, we're going to roll the dice on this one.
Yeah. I think on that bombshell.
Yes, that one.
It's a good night from me.
And it's a very good night from him. And well done on your voice.
Yeah, held out there.
Yeah.
Keep up to date with the latest Star Wars news each and every day on PanthaTracks.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, and Pinterest at PanthaTracks. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow PanthaTracks TV to be alerted to new content and to be a part of our live shows.